came to the scrub class that we had before with E4712, but we had a lot of fun. So I'm excited to make the artisan soap. So I'm going to go ahead and let these ladies take over. And these are the ladies of Ezekiel 4712.
Hi, I'm
Hi,
Janice.
everybody. I'm Becky. Have any of you made soap before?
Yeah.
No? Okay. We hope you enjoy this. We totally enjoy making soap and made a business. So what we're going to do today is called a melt and pour soap. There's actually three techniques for soap. There's a hot process, a cold process, and the pre-mixed soap, which is the melt and pour that you'll use today. Some of you got a glycerin soap in your pack, and some of you got a solid white. So they'll come out looking a little different than your neighbors maybe, but it's all nice, good soap. And pre-mixed soap already has the lye mixed in it so that you don't have to deal with the lye. So this is safe and easy. You could teach your kids to do this. We like the idea of teaching the kids. They can make teacher gifts. It's handmade from the child. It'll be good for Christmas because you have a mold already. Mm-hmm. So, and you can get other melt and pour bases from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, or a soap supply store.
And it's called melt and pour base.
It's called melt and pour base. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is a good starting point if you get into soap making, is to learn how to do this and deal with the heat and the temperatures. But the good thing is, and the reason that we recommend it for kids is because you don't have to measure and use lye. Therefore, we don't wear safety gear with this. The only thing that might happen is that you might touch something that's too hot, but you're used to handling bowls in and out of the microwave. So that should be good. This soap also sets up quick. The way that we make our soaps, it has to set up 24 hours before we cut it. And then it has to set up for 2 weeks to cure before it can be used. Y'all be able to use your soap tonight. Mm-hmm. So it'll be set up and ready to use.
The way that you're talking about that takes 2 weeks, is that, do y'all use hot or cold? Or both of those processes take that long?
We've done both and they take that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
A straight cold process usually takes 4 weeks to cure.
Mm-hmm.
This
When
process?
we use the hot process, it's 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And so for y'all today, also, everything is pre-measured except for your colorants. So, I mean, we're measuring, we look like the mad scientists when we're making soap, but so you don't have to wear a mask or goggles or anything today because there's nothing that's harmful for you. So you should have your mold, a mixing bowl. You need to have a spatula, silicone or stainless steel. A stainless steel spoon will work. You need a sharp knife, your soap base, your fancy cutting board that was in your bag. You have a little small bowl, a plastic spoon. You have your colorant in a little Ziploc, and a 1 ounce bottle of fragrance.
Really quickly, I'm just going to interject. I have a second screen up. If you're in the speaker view, you can see Shauna, and it's a kind of a close-up view of my workstation. If you want to pin that, that will get bigger on your screen and you can see close up. Or you can keep it on this broad view if you like that better.
Okay. The optional items were a temperature gauge. We use ours all the time making soap, and I'll kind of get into a little of the description of why we would do that. You can use one today if you have one. If you don't, it's okay with melt and pour, and you'll understand why when we get to that. So your melt and pour soap base has what we call a flash point for heat. You do not heat that over 150 degrees. Your fragrance also has a flash point. If you look on the bottle, it has FP less than a number. And most of them are printed on the label. A couple of them I hand wrote on there for you. So when we make our soap base has to be less than that temperature before we can add the fragrance in. But because the flash point for your soap is at 150, I gave y'all fragrances that were, flash points were 180 or 200. So we won't have to worry about measuring temperatures today. If you go buy more base or fragrance later, you probably want to use your temperature gauge. And we'll do that as we go so you can see what we do.
And when you go and you buy your fragrance, make sure that it says body safe. Some are candle safe, some are candle and body safe. And on your flash point, if you go above that, what happens is your scent will disappear. You won't have a scent.
It burns.
Yeah, it'll burn the scent off.
And your soap base will volcano, and you won't be able to use it, so you will have wasted your money if you don't pay attention to those temperatures. The other thing, there's a couple things you need to know if you continue to do this or you make a second batch. The rule of thumb is 1 ounce of fragrance to 1 pound of soap. So you've got a 1 pound block and a 1 ounce bottle. So none of that had to be measured. So we're set with that. And the other thing, that and the flash point, you need to know what that is. The other thing is that your mica, which is the colorant, a little bit goes a long way. And you will not be using the whole bag today. It was just a little sample bag. I didn't measure. So you'll probably have some of that left over. Okay, so if you have everything lined out and you're ready to go, we're going to start off unwrapping your soap. And we want you to cut that in like 1 inch cubes because that helps it melt more even.
And if y'all have any questions while we're going along, just stop us.
The 1 inch cubes.
Can I admit brandy to the thing?
Oh, yes.
How do you do that?
If you just go use your finger across that cursor and hit the admit button on the laptop, that little pad, finger pad at the front, yes, that's your cursor. Let me use the other hand. Perfect.
Well, just 1 inch.
You there, Brandy?
Yes.
And Janice and I work standing up. For me, it's easier to make that cut standing rather than sitting, but that's just how it goes for us. We work standing up. It's fine, seated. We have to run a little further back for our microwave. So we're usually on our feet most of the time.
And here's my little cube that I'm cutting up, about 1 inch.
And you can go ahead and put that in the big bowl. I know the cutting board's not very big.
Yes. Really quick.
And the reason that we use a silicone, rubber, or stainless steel utensil is because lye reacts with aluminum, and you don't want to use a wood utensil because the soap will soak into it. And if you go to make your pot of soup with your wood spoon, you're going to have bubbles in it. So we use the ones that withstand the heat and they clean up easy. It already smells good in here. And once you have your soap all queued up and in the bowl, you can go ahead to the microwave. We want to heat it up slowly. And so I wouldn't go 2 minutes or 1.5.
I'd probably go 1.5, but check it about every
30
40 seconds.
So if you want to go ahead and if your microwave heat's really hot, just set it for a minute and watch it. But you do not want to overheat it. It doesn't need to boil or bubble. It just needs to melt.
5 minutes since you finished.
1 minute.
One button.
Just hit the one button, but look, watch it. You have to watch
Okay,
it.
so I don't put that thing on top of it.
And do we stir it with the plastic spoon or?
No,
Use your spatula or your spoon.
Metal or spatula?
Oh,
you can use a stainless steel spoon, or if you have a little spatula that's silicone or a rubber one, use that. Your little plastic spoon we'll use later. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to melt it all the way in the microwave because we'll take it out and we'll stir it and let the heat finish melting the rest of it.
It's really important not to overheat.
Yeah, now just stir it and then put it back in.
Okay, so this is what mine looks like so far, so I'm gonna stir it.
Now when you stir it, you want to stir it very gently. You're not making a cake, so don't beat it.
Don't whip it.
Don't whip it. If you do, it gets full of air bubbles and your soap comes out really ugly. So take it out of the microwave after a minute or so, stir it around and make sure that it's not one big blob. And you can put it back in for another 30 seconds or so.
Hey Brandy, do you want to real quickly tell Brandy what we've just done?
Hey, Brandy.
Yeah. Hi Brandy, we just started. So if you'll unwrap your soap, use your fancy cutting board and cut your soap in 1-inch cubes. And it goes in your plastic bowl.
So mine, as you can see, is pretty well.
So is this okay? Like you said, there's little chunks in mine that are like this big.
Yeah, just stir it, and you can go back and put it in the microwave for 20 or 30 seconds to
Okay.
help that heat up. But everything needs to melt completely.
but just gently.
Okay, and so yours is good and hot. So, yeah. And if you want to check the temp on that, just filter. Oh,
3.
so yours is
140.
140.
So we are good.
Yeah.
Good.
So while your soap is melting, if you want to go ahead and take your small cup, and we're going to pour your fragrance in it. Now, if you have a fragrance that you just cannot handle, don't use it. You'll have unscented soap. If it is too strong, just use half. Otherwise, pour that whole ounce in the little cup.
Yes.
Okay? We're going to do the whole ounce. This one's nice and red.
Okay.
I see them at the
I need to melt.
microwave.
Huh?
Yeah, we can just turn it away.
Okay, yeah, we'll let y'all get back and forth from the microwave. Yeah, or you might, well, it's okay, you could reheat it a little bit if it starts to set up. If it starts to get a skin on the top,
Okay,
then it can reheat, like in your spoon.
yeah.
Yeah, if it starts sitting up like that, you just want to reheat it just a few seconds.
Anything else to it?
So when you start doing this and melting stuff, you need to be committed to this activity.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it is best
It
not to
can't
have,
smell
it's
or-
best not to have kids underfoot or animals
Okay.
in your way. That's why I use a separately, totally different house. I work outside of the house, I'm not.
Yeah, no distractions.
So is everybody doing okay with the melting? It's melting up. Just stir very gently, Brandy. We don't whip it up. You stir very gently to get it all to melt even. Okay. All right, and if you've got your fragrance in your little bowl, go ahead and you can take your colorant and your spoon. Now, about half of this spoon flat, even, is the maximum amount of color you want to use. So you can do the full out color. I've got a neon pink. Or if you want a more pastel look, use a smaller amount. But do not try to tap this out into your bowl because it'll all come out. And your soap may not set right if there's too much color. Same with fragrance. If you use too much, that's why we measure everything.
Is this a good amount?
That looks good. That's going to be nice and dark. That should come out very pretty. And you're going to go ahead and stir it in your fragrance until that all dissolves. And if you started with a small amount and you wanted a little darker and you didn't use a half spoon, then use the other end of your spoon to dip out some more of the dry and tap it into your into the fragrance oil.
Goes into the fragrance, correct?
Yeah. We're going to mix it straight in the fragrance.
Did Brandy hear the part about pouring the fragrance in the little bowl?
She was there. I don't know if she
Okay.
was at the microwave. I'll look when she comes back on.
Ooh, it's pretty.
Isn't it pretty?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is so pretty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I always close my bag up because I've spilled this before and it's very hard to get all cleaned off of your kitchen counter and your floor and you step in it. So just be careful with it because you don't want to have to clean up that mess.
So what is the color stuff? What is it called?
Mica. And it's body safe mica. They do.
Get that at Hobby Lobby as well?
They have some, or you can go online. You'd be able to find it at Soap Supplies, and you can probably find some on Amazon.
Yeah, just make sure it's body safe.
Yeah, because otherwise it's meant for a candle,
Gotcha.
and that it's not good on the skin.
And if this starts getting a little skin on the top, I should put it back in the microwave?
Correct.
For about,
Just put it in for 15 or 20
15
seconds.
Ask you to put your spoon down.
So Brandy, did you hear the part about the fragrance?
What part? Oh, to put the mica in fragrance?
Okay.
Yeah.
She's okay with that? Alright. So I'm still mixing the color because I've got a little blob on my spoon. Okay, is everybody's soap base melted? No lumps in it? Nod heads, please.
Yes, my
Yes,
thumbs up.
okay. Okay. And the mom and daughter, Duranda, y'all are okay?
Oh, yeah, you can't see us, can you? We're
Okay.
standing up now. It's easier to do this standing up.
Yeah, it is. And I don't see your face anymore, so I'm just making sure.
My name's Bobby.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You don't have to stop and do anything different. Okay. So it looks like Duranda's mom has a nice pink.
Hers is very
Oh,
pretty.
the pink is beautiful.
Mine is yellow.
I just used a very little of the pink though, if that's what you got, because
Okay.
it's real dominant.
Okay. Is everybody's soap base mixed? Brandy, is yours melted and ready?
Yep.
Almost? Okay.
That's good.
Okay, once it's completely melted, you don't have any lumps.
Okay.
It should be
It's completely
enough because it didn't go over 150 to start with. We're gonna pour the fragrance and color mixture into the soap.
To the soap,
And
right?
so just pour that in and just stir gently. Again, don't whip it up. You don't want a lot of air bubbles. And I'm just trying, you want to scrape that off? You know what, that matches the mold. Okay, and you just stir it all up until you don't see the rivers of color. Just stir very gently.
This smells amazing.
Yes.
What fragrance did you get?
I got pickling pumpkins. Oh, picking pumpkins.
Very
Good
fall.
fall scent.
Mine's kind of fall too, actually. Spice coquito.
You all got
How much fragrance do we add?
I have,
the whole bottle. That's 1 ounce. So you put the whole
Okay.
fragrance bottle in the little bowl and then measure your color and mix it in with that.
I just put half of my bottle in there because it's real strong and it's caramelized praline, and I just put half a bottle in there.
Okay, okay. And once you've got your color mixed, you can go ahead and pour in your mold. You want to make sure your mold is sitting on a flat surface, and it's going to sit there for 30 to 45 minutes. So you won't disturb it wherever it is. And you can start to pour that into your mold.
Let me ask you something. My color looked much brighter in the oil, and then when I mixed it in my soap, it's now it's not as bright. Can I put more powder in the soap?
Yes, you can. Just don't put more than a half a spoon total.
Okay.
And it might take you a little bit to get it mixed, but
Okay.
yes, you can. That's because you had all of your color in 1 ounce and your color was 16 ounces. So it does lighten a little bit in the soap.
Mine's pretty enough.
Yours is pretty, yeah.
Yeah, mine looks really pretty.
Hers is a light pink, but mine turned into like a beigey yellow. So
Good,
it's
good.
yellow. So.
The purple looks pretty on the screen.
And you may only get 5 bars, depending on how full you fill them.
You may have one real thin bar, but that's okay. Just don't let it overflow.
What's an optimal fullness?
About like she's got here.
Okay, so almost to the top.
Uh-huh.
Becky said mine looks like Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah,
It does.
Make sure that's flat. You're going to make sure it's flat, and then you're going to pour it in there.
Okay, she's putting hers in with.
Yeah, you can fit yours in with that spoon. That thing has a spoon. See, it's a spoon.
Oh, it's a
So you
spoon?
can kind of dip it out in there.
Mine is
Mm-hmm.
mine was strawberry rhubarb. It smells so good.
Oh, good.
But I filled them like almost to the top. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
The 6th one might not be that thick, but that's fine.
I just avoided it.
Okay.
I made 5 to not have a little one. But
Okay.
if you like, I dropped some here. Can I just wipe it off? It's like
Yeah. Yeah, or you just wait till it dries.
okay.
So how's everybody doing? You've got it poured?
Could I put rose petals on top here?
You could.
I'm gonna grab some.
Look at you being an overachiever.
You can also add an exfoliant. I wouldn't to this batch, but if you make another batch, you can add, or I like to get a small loofah and put it down in my mold and then pour the soap over it. And then you have a nice scrubby loofah in there.
Ooh.
You can add a little bit of ground up oatmeal for an exfoliant. We also use coffee grounds for exfoliant, and it also smells pretty good. So there's some things that you have at home that can be used, and flower petals can be put on top. A lot of times though, those do turn brown from the heat, but sometimes the roses, the color still looks pretty good.
And sometimes you have to be careful with your exfoliant because it will not suspend in the soap and it will sink to the bottom.
Or,
And so,
or all float to
yeah,
the
or
top.
float to the top.
When you get, can you just buy exfoliant at Hobby Lobby too?
You can take oatmeal and grind it up real fine.
Oh, okay.
That's an exfoliant.
And I use the coffee grounds out of the K-cup. I just dump them on one of these fancy cutting boards and let it dry.
Mhm.
And I use not much. It doesn't take much at all. Or you can get pumice ground up. I like something that's biodegradable. I like to use the oatmeal or the coffee or tea grounds. I've used tea grounds too.
Yeah,
So
tea's
would
good too.
Would you mix that in after you put in the color and got it all mixed up?
Yeah, it goes in last, right before you pour. We've also used the clear soap like Shauna has and put a little plastic toy in it.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
And not use color so they can see it, just used a fragrance.
Can you use like Dr. Teal's Epsom salt, or is that too much?
Salt, a whole new level of issues with the soap, and add salt to it. You might be able to sprinkle some on the top.
It's probably going to sweat. Melt and pour is going to sweat, and your soap's going to add. I mean, your salt's going to add to that because your salt draws moisture to it.
Yeah.
So I'm just like pushing these rose petals inside. Is that okay?
Fine.
Yeah, that's going to look really good.
Yeah, that's
You'll
fine.
have to send us a photo of that,
Yeah.
Crystal. So we can
Okay.
test it out.
Okay, so
Like I can cut it in half and see what it looks like.
sure. Yeah.
I'm just
You
gonna put.
cut it in half and use it as guest soaps.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm just gonna do it to 2 of them.
these make very nice teacher gifts if you have kids, if you have children or grandchildren. This is a fun project that you can supervise easily, that they can make their own, because you're going to have your setup. You're going to have your mold. You just wash out this bowl. I wouldn't use it for food, but you could use it again for soap. So once you've got yours poured, we scrape this bowl until we get all of this soap out, and I usually just roll it up in a ball and put it by my kitchen sink because it's soap. So you've got an extra little handful of it, and it after it sets up and dries, it peels off real easy off of your spoon and your bowl, and then it's real easy to clean after that because there's no scrap left in there.
Can you buy different shaped molds for the soap?
You can, you know, at Hobby Lobby and Michael's both, they have all kinds of silicone molds for food,
Oh, okay.
for cupcakes and food, and you can get all kinds of holiday ones. So yeah, I would use silicone, but yeah, because it's so easy to remove. So you can tap, if you have air bubbles on top, you can tap the sides of your mold, not too hard because it's already setting up to get all of the air to rise up. Or you can just let it go. It should be fine. And Janice is going to pop them with the spoon.
I pop mine.
Yeah, and that works too. But hers is starting to set up. It's got a skin on the top.
Yeah.
Mine does too.
So what you'll do, it's about 30, maybe 40 minutes. Just so it's set up. And I check it by touching the side of the mold to see if it gives. That lets me know it's still liquid or if it feels hard. And once the side gets hard, I'll check the bottom just to make sure, because it heats up more in the mold and then it'll start cooling down and setting up. And what Janice and I have to do is pour it in a mold and wait 24 hours before it's cut because it takes that long for it to set up. So this is quick, easy, and you'll be able to use it right away.
So when we added the fragrance and the color to it, and it was like swirly, like that marble effect, could we pour it like that, or does it need to be completely mixed?
You can. You want to make sure you mix your fragrance. You want to.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. Just swirl it through there pretty good, and then as you pour it, it comes out and looks a little different. You could also use 2 bowls and put half of your soap in one side and half in the other, color one side and not the other, and then pour from both into the
Oh,
same
okay.
mold, and it'll swirl.
That's a good idea.
If you did it
Okay.
like that, would it layer the colors?
Yeah, I want to do that.
I'm sorry, does somebody else have a question?
If you did it like that, would it layer the colors?
You can pour it to layer. Usually when a wet soap hits a wet soap, it'll spread out a little, and then you put the other color and it spreads out. So they call that a tiger stripe, but when you look at it or cut it in half, you can see the layers, but it won't be like solid pink, solid white, solid pink, solid white. It'd be more of a swirly effect.
Could you take it like a toothpick and swirl it
You
more?
can, yes. You can get a toothpick or a skewer,
Okay.
like we barbecue with, and you can swirl in there, and it gives it a little more design. And you can see some of the design on the top of these, or you can cut it to look in there and see what it looks like. Or as you use it down, it's going to look a little different.
Mine has kind of darker swirls in it. I don't know if it will dry that way or not, but
Mm-hmm.
oh, I like that. Mine looks kind of marbled.
Yeah.
So you said about half an hour, and this should be set? and you could
Usually.
Use it?
Uh-huh.
Wow,
Uh-huh.
it's quick.
Yeah.
So the block,
That's the thing about the melt and pour base is you don't have to wait for it. It's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
so where do you get the blocks of soap? Is that like Hobby Lobby and Michael's?
You can. We, of course, buy everything in bulk from a soap supply store. But you know, look online. I'm sure they have it on Amazon. Amazon has everything.
Yeah, they do. So that's why.
So some of the white soaps that we have were goat's milk. Some were shea butter. Some were aloe vera. So there's all kinds depending on what you want for your skin. I think they all have shea butter in them, but there was one that had more than the others.
I tried to make soap one time and I bought a block from Hobby Lobby, and when I was melting it, it just smelled awful. So is there any recommendations? I threw it all away. So do you have any recommendations on,
Kind of.
like this one didn't smell bad when I heated it up, but
And yeah, this has a web address on these. I don't think all of you had a label on yours because we bought a box full, and I don't think they put labels on all of them. So if you want to send that to them, that's
Yeah, I
fine.
can send it to you, and you can write it, if you have a notepad, you can write it down to southwestcandlesupply.com.
Okay.
Easy.
And they also have the fragrance stuff.
They'll have
And
everything you
the
need.
colorant. Yeah, they have everything you need.
Yeah, and I'm gonna post this video later on the website, and I'll include any links that we have on there as well. So if you want to do that.
I have a question, just to review, because I was taking notes. You said exfoliants, we could use crushed oatmeal, like just plain oatmeal raw and just crush it up?
Put it in a blender or food processor to make it
Okay.
really fine.
I have a little magic bullet and I just put it in there and I just grind it up.
Okay. And what was the other option for an exfoliant?
We use coffee grounds or tea grounds. I let them dry. You can use them wet. I just don't want the color to fade in. So I just dump a K-cup and let it dry a day or two, and it doesn't take a lot. You don't
Okay.
need a lot. There are, walnut shells. To me, that's too rough. I don't like it that rough. There's pumice you can get that's ground.
To me, that would be more like a lava soap.
Yeah, which is fine. I just don't want to use it all over. It's fine on hands or after gardening or working on a car. Feet. Yes.
Definitely not your
Yes.
face.
Yes, and the same with the loofah. If you can find the little slices of loofah sponges, you just set it in this mold and then pour your soap over, and it'll soak up down into that and all around it, and it makes a great foot scrub soap. Or elbows. Kind of depends on where you're rough. But yeah. Brandy's is still going good at your house? I see you have a helper. Okay. All right, everybody got it poured up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that is all we have unless you have questions.
Oh, that was
Oh,
good.
that's a pretty color.
what color did she get?
Yeah.
Is it blue?
I like it.
Thank you for letting me
That's pretty.
post up in here and watch this.
Sure.
Yeah, that was fun. And you guys will have to share pictures with me of your finished product. I always like seeing how everything turns out.
Mhm.
Is this mica from the same company, the Southwest Candle Supply?
It might be. We have mica from a lot of different places, and I just put spoons in these little tiny things, so I really couldn't tell you where it came from.
Okay,
They
well,
have
that's
some
fine.
awesome micas. They have glitter. I don't like glitter in my shower tub, so I don't use it. What else do they have? They have all colors. They have some that kind of a shimmery look to them. I don't know if any of y'all got one of those. And neons are all kinds of colors.
And they have poppy seeds that you can use as exfoliants, but
Mhm.
just a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, poppy seeds to me are a little rough.
Mhm.
But if I was going to use it on my feet only, that would be fine. You can also, instead of the mica, you can use a little bit of turmeric to make it a yellow. You can use paprika. You can use beet powder and things like that to make it more natural. And at Southwest Candle, she also has some like hibiscus flower powders. But we found the color from that is not as strong as the micas. So it'd be a soft color with those. The turmeric comes out real pretty,
Yeah.
depending on how much you add, and the paprika does as well. So
I actually have one of your face soaps that has the crushed oatmeal in it. It's perfect for your face. It's just the right amount of exfoliant, I think, for your face. I actually use their bar soap, liquid soap, and body lotion, and I'm in love with it. So if you guys want to try it, they've got a little shop set up at
Rustic Spice
Rustic
and
Spice.
Carol.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to come
Or
back there.
you can follow us on Facebook as well. And every month we have a giveaway on our Facebook page. So be sure and follow us. We don't have this month's up yet. So, but you'll be able to be eligible for that because it is September selfie. And we're asking that you take a picture with one of our products. Well, you made one today. So take a picture of yourself with your soap and you'll be eligible for this month's prize.
Can they post that to your Facebook page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have it up this weekend and then you just reply with your photo and you'll be entered in the drawing. But we try to do that
Mother's Day, we got the little hand sanitizers and lip balms from them, right?
Yes.
I love those. Those are so awesome.
Yeah, they also come to our fall festivals the last 2 years. Hopefully we'll be able to have that again in person. So they're usually there. And I will include their Facebook link and web link when I post this as well so that you guys have that too.
Oh, good. Good, good.
What was the name of your business again?
It's called E4712.
Oh, okay.
It's a Bible scripture, Ezekiel 47:12.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Artisan Soaps.
Is that the name of your boutique?
The boutique is called Rustic Spice. We just have space. It's in a beauty salon in Terrell.
Okay.
It's really cute too. So you should go in there and check it out, get some soaps and stuff. But they've got other cute stuff too.
They do. They have a lot of nice stuff.
It's like a little boutique shop in there. Any other questions, anybody? Nope. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your soaps, and I'm glad you guys joined us. I thought it was really fun. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you
thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend.